Is there anything I should be aware of when buying a short-term rental unit, specifically outside of what we've already discussed?
Well, you're a realtor, so I would hope so. What's up, guys? Welcome to this week's McInnes Marketing Minute. I'm Ben Robinson and I'm Jay McInnes. Today we're actually doing not a redo, but an updated version of our short-term rental / Airbnb blog podcast video that we did last year now. That was when kind of the changes, thank you, that was when kind of the changes came into effect and we updated everyone and we got like a really good positive response from that. So now the changes have been in effect and it's kind of had that time to settle. We're now answering some questions that we've come across in our day-to-day lives, and also now that the dust has settled, we can provide a lot more clarification on,
Yeah, and we've had a few listings since then that fall into the Airbnb friendly building category and have had a variety of the exact same questions from potential buyers and their agents that have come through these properties because they seem to be getting extra attention in this market, the stratas that still do allow it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to run through those commonly asked questions.
Yep.
And we're going to probe young Benjamin here and see if he's been paying attention.
Okay.
So some of the questions you guys may have yourselves, or that at least we come across, are what I'm about to read out now. So we'll start with, is Airbnb legal?
Yes, Airbnb is legal, providing you follow the rules, which, let's give an example here. So Max wants to buy a property and Airbnb it out. If it's in a stratified property, the bylaws have to allow for it in the building. If it's a single family detached home, it has to, obviously you don't have to worry about strata rules, but it has to be your principal residence along with any condo as well. And it has to be registered with the city of Vancouver. So that's where you'll get your business license number from.
Mm-hmm.
So in a nutshell, but we'll pop a link on below because there's a few different rules and regulations that you have to follow, and then that link will take you through to everything from the city of Vancouver.
Okay. So yes, in a nutshell. How many buildings allow short-term rentals in Vancouver? And by Vancouver, let's say downtown and just outside.
It's roughly about 18.
Roughly 18.
Roughly 18.
Addresses.
And I say roughly 18 because there's like a couple of complexes that allow it, like the Firenze allows it, but it's made up of 3 buildings, so you're going to classify those as 3 buildings. But yeah, it's roughly 18.
Roughly 18, okay.
Yep, as of this moment.
That can obviously change.
Mm-hmm.
What if I buy in a building that allows short-term rentals? Can it be banned?
Yes, it can. Yeah,
so you're not safe forever?
No. So, as with anything, obviously if you're buying into a building that allows it, I'm assuming you're buying a stratified property, the owners essentially regulate those buildings. So it can be brought up at an AGM or an SGM, and it can be voted on to get rid of at any time if the building has a particular problem. You're not 100% safe, and that could happen tomorrow, 6 months from now, 6 years from now.
And what is the process? I'm not sure if we go through this later. I think we do. Do we go through that later? Process internally in the strata of banning it?
Well, we can touch on that now. So it's just rearranging my clothing. So essentially if they want to ban or change a rule, whether that be any rule or short-term rentals, is they'll have to provide a vote at something like an AGM or an SGM.
What percent
and
do they need?
They need 75%, so 3/4 resolution.
So a lot of people, 100 unit strata, 75 people.
Yeah, so where a lot of people get confused is, let's say you have 100 units in a building and 50 of those units say, yeah, we want it, 50% say, no, we don't want it. The rules will stay the same because you need the 3/4, the majority vote of 75% of those people, in the example given, 75 units, to say yes or no to change the rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done that. That's good, I think. Can I protect myself from the above happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, it can always happen, but there's certain measures you can do. Like, so there's a few buildings in Vancouver that have already voted on it. So they've already voted on it. It's already so it's voted on. They've already agreed for it to stay. So the likelihood is highly unlikely that it's going to come up again in the near future. And if it did come up again with people voting to keep it, it's highly unlikely that it's going to be voted off. Now, it's still possible, but highly unlikely. Then you can also go to the buildings that didn't allow it and have voted specifically to allow it. So 1372 Seymour, the Mark, that's one of them. They voted to actually have Airbnb. Friends, as we were talking about, they voted on it and they wanted to keep it. So you can't 100% protect yourself, but you can be tactful on which building you buy in.
Yeah, so
to minimize your chances.
And to add to that, so obviously working with your realtor, reading through the minutes of a strata to see what the building has done with regards, if they've dealt with it to those degrees or not, as opposed to looking in a building that never had rental restrictions and haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
So that is a building, obviously, that I would suggest would be a bit possibly more susceptible to it getting canceled, because if they haven't gone through that yet already and voted to keep it or voted to change from no to yes, you don't know what way at all it's going to go. Yeah. So just, due diligence as far as you can as usual, and getting comfortable in those minutes.
And further on from that, 9 times out of 10, if you're in a building that allows it and they vote on it and they get rid of it, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be grandfathered into being allowed it, and you will just not be allowed to do it anymore.
Yeah. Okay, next. Can I pay a property management company to manage my short-term rental?
Yes. So make sure you get the short-term rental management, because property management is different to short-term rental management. Short-term rental management is typically more expensive. I've seen prices anywhere from 25 to 35%. Of the fee.
Well.
If anyone needs a recommendation, I actually know some local guys in Vancouver who do a stellar job, and they're a lot cheaper than most people. But yeah, it's typically more expensive. Stays are shorter, so it's more maintenance, more administration work, more cleaning.
Yeah. Okay, next. What is this license number all about? Business license.
Oh, the business license? Yeah, so when you apply through the city and say this is my principal residence, so I'm going to be Airbnb-ing it, they'll give you a business license number, and that number just proves that you're registered with the city, and it should be advertised on your short-term rental page, whether that's airbnb.com or .ca or VRSO, and just to prove that you're registered.
Okay. Is there anything I should be aware of when buying a short-term rental unit, specifically outside of what we've already discussed?
Well, you're a realtor, so I would hope so.
A potential client, or any other buyers out there that may not be familiar?
Yeah, I mean, do some due diligence as to what price you can, on average, achieve for the building, and I mean, try and verge on the lower side just to be safe.
Like in any rental, long-term or short-term. Yeah,
exactly. You don't want to be going into a place thinking you can get $500 a night and you can only get 250 or something like that, right? So you want to be cognizant of that. And also, if you're buying into a condo building, make sure you do check the bylaws, because even if it's allowed, a lot of the times the building want it to be registered. They want you to pay a short-term rental fee monthly, things like that. So just make sure, and kind of to your point about the minutes, that if you're going to be purchasing something, that they're not about to have a vote on it and vote it out for you to buy in there and put a monkey wrench in all the works.
Okay. Almost done. Is there any municipality specific situations or information that we would need to know?
Yeah, so City of Vancouver allows short-term rentals, providing you meet all of the rules and regulations. But there are some areas like District of North Vancouver, Richmond, I think Coquitlam as well. They just don't allow it at all, so it's not even on your principal residence. It's not about meeting any rules and regulations. Although the district are currently they've been taking signatures, and it's now closed. on a potential change to allow you to rent out your property, providing you live in a single family detached house. But that's remained to be seen. As of now, just make sure that the municipality that you're living in or looking to do it in allows it.
Okay. Worst case scenario, the fines. Tell us about the fines.
Yeah, the fines are pretty bad. So you can, if you're in a stratified property, you can get fined by the strata, and then you can also get fined by the city if you're caught as well, or both of them. But some of the fines are up to $1,000 a day.
$1,000 a day, worst case scenario.
Yeah, it used to be like, I think it used to be $100. So people used to, I mean, what, you rake in $6,000 for the month, you pay $100, you still made $5,900.
Okay, and last, how much can you possibly make from short term? This is very subjective, obviously, depending on the building and the unit and so on and so forth. But what sort of, comparing it to a general monthly rental income from a unit, if you were doing the typical 1-year term, what's really the difference here?
Yeah, so kind of like you said, there's a few variables involved in there, but one of the guys in which we put into a place, he was getting, and I don't think this is uncommon from talking to people, and a few of our clients actually, like $10,000 plus a month.
And what kind of place did he have?
He has a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment, actually in 688 Abbott Street, Firenze.
Square footage, roughly?
Square footage, roughly 630 square feet. No, 622 square feet.
To be specific?
Yeah, to be specific, yeah. And I mean, that's during like the summer months.
So peak months.
So peak months as well. It tends to peak a little bit in like Thanksgiving and Christmas as well because of the holidays. But a lot of our clients are seeing 60 to 80,000 income a year if you were to look at the whole year as opposed to the peak months.
And what sort of ballpark price range? Let's take that one for an example. To purchase.
He paid $629,000 for that one earlier this year.
Okay.
Earlier this year, yeah.
It's good perspective.
Yeah, so, I mean, $629,000 for, I mean, what, usually you'd rent that out on average, roughly about $2,000 a month if you were to rent it out.
I'd say 21 at best, probably, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then you're deciding to do that for a bit more effort and he's making a ton of money.
Now, yeah, you've got the additional other cost of the servicing the unit with so many turnovers, and or if you're doing it yourself, which a lot of people will do, but there's a big difference from $2,000 to $10,000 a month.
Yeah, well, I mean, his plan is,
that.
After chatting to him, is he still works himself, of course, so he takes all of that income and just uses it to lump sum pay the mortgage. So the idea is the mortgage is paid off extremely fast, and then he can just use that income
to pay it down.
Making
sure beforehand that you can make balloon payments on your mortgage.
Yeah.
Other details we can talk about later.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, of course, when it's a principal residence and it's a 1-bedroom, it's a bit difficult because obviously you're living there half of the time. So, but yeah, definitely provides you with opportunity for sure.
That's all the questions I have.
That's it.
Can you think of anything else?
Okay, no, but guys, we deal with Airbnb an awful lot. A lot of our clients have taken advantage of it. So if you do have any questions that we haven't covered, feel free to write a comment, send us an email, call, whatever's more convenient for you, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
For sure.
See you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
Till next time.